Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of GIC TV. Boy, this camera's really close on me here. I just wanted to welcome you all to another very special talk today. Today we are going to be doing what's called a spiritual activist hour, and the reason why I felt it was a good idea to do this today is because of the fact that, one, we do have the spiritual conference coming up. An International Spiritual Activist Conference is coming up in October. Excuse me. And I don't think you all have really met Yvonne live, so I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity to bring you Yvonne live from the UK, introduce her, let you see what she looks like, and many of you may not know what she looks like, and give us a chance and an opportunity to talk a little bit why we got involved doing what we're doing, all of the projects that we're involved in, as well as some of the future projects that are going to be headed our way and are coming our way. So without further ado, if I could, let me welcome Yvonne. Give me just a moment here while I bring her in. Let's see, we want this. There she is. Wonderful.
Hello.
Oh, it automatically does it. I like this. I like this a lot. After all this time working with this program, it's finally doing what it's supposed to be doing. Anyway, hello, Yvonne. Welcome to GIC TV, your debut. How are you today?
Hi, Bernard. I'm doing really good. A little bit nervous.
Well, it's so good.
I'm normally
it's so great to see your face.
audio.
I mean, you know, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I'm sure everybody out there is happy to see you, too.
Hello.
Anyway, so without further ado, Yvonne, let's talk a little bit, first of all, about what a spiritual activist is. And if I may be so bold, let me explain a little bit what I think a spiritual activist is. And then by all means, please jump in and add your 2 cents to it. For me, spiritual activism is something that is a calling. And when I say it's a calling, I mean that I think we're connected, or I feel that there are a few of us that are very connected to a spiritual calling, and that spiritual calling seems to have a clarity, a certain truth that's involved in it, and with that, there's this need, for lack of a better term, or a drive, a better term, a drive to share what we understand as truth. And I have to differentiate what I mean by that. I don't mean evangelize. I don't mean our way is the right way and you need to, worship that stone or that rock or that deity or whatever. No. For me, it's about connecting with our inner truth, and that truth is a connection to the rest of the universe. That's the spiritual aspect of it. Now, as far as the activist aspect of it, that for me is that moment where we realize, oh my goodness, there is so much trouble in this world, there is so much corruption, there is so much hate and so much anger and bigotry and just things that don't sit right with you on an intuitive level or in our gut or in our heart. Those of us that consider ourselves quote unquote spiritual, that aren't a part of a particular church or aren't a part of a particular religion or whatnot, we really are, I guess love is our religion, not to sound cliche. So when we start seeing actions, whether it be with our government, whether it be certain organizations or even other religions that are not conducive to that energy of love, that are not promoting that energy of love, acceptance, non-judgment, we get a little, oh my gosh, I have to do something about this. I need to expose the fact that these people hate other people, that they're not following their word, they're not following their path of love, etc., etc. So it's amazing how this really has become almost I talked about in my last video, a spontaneous awakening of, whether you want to call it light workers or star seeds or indigos or rainbows or, even the pagan movements getting involved, even the New Age, the Druids, everyone is getting involved in this. And it's because we're trying to for me, we're trying to come back to Earth. And what I mean by Earth, the planet, the nature, the life force of our planet. And what we're hearing is a lot of people are waking up to this and developing these amazing intuitive skills, which is pretty wild. And if you all ever saw that movie, The Celestine Prophecy, in the movie he shows like all these things like falling into place, like the universe doesn't necessarily have a plan laid out for you, but you just draw all these experiences into your life that lead you to the next, that lead you to the next, that lead you to the next, that are around this particular spiritual activism, for lack of a better term. And I think this is a good point where I can use you as an example, Yvonne.
Yeah, I feel like I lived the Celestine Prophecy, actually.
Isn't it amazing? So tell us, yeah. tell the viewers a little bit how you feel about it. How did you fall into it? What are some examples of like what led to the next step, that led to the next step, that brought you to where you are today?
Synchronicities, yeah, I found synchronicities. Well, you explained it really well. I can't really add much to that. Yeah, it's so funny. I stepped out of, I had a lot of life experience, which everybody goes through.
Of course.
It's all part of our path, and I had to go through it to get where I am now, so I have no regrets. But I came out of that life experience approximately 5 years ago and moved to Abbotsbury, which is a little village in Dorset, it's south of the UK. And my parents worked here, so it's just a safe little place for me to heal from all those life experiences. And my synchronicity started from there, really. I started healing, relaxing, unwinding from all that. And synchronistically, I ended up on a path, my right path, and I feel like a completely different person now. Where did it start? Oh, I ended up going to a psychic fair with a friend in the village and my mum and my girls. And I had my aura read with a machine, and it printed it out, and all the colours were all muddy. I was quite depressed at the time, and I found it fascinating. Everybody there was just lovely at this spiritual event, psychic fair. And I came back from that I got into angels, and I was looking into other things. And then, again, it happened so fast. I'm trying to remember the order of things, but I got into Amnesty International. So I started on the spiritual path, and then I got into the activist path quite quickly, luckily, because I was living in balance, which was really good with that. But it happened very quick. Shall I keep on talking?
Yes, by all means. I'm at the edge of my seat.
Okay, so I got into Amnesty International, and I decided to do something about it, stand up for other people that can't stand up for themselves, get involved. I found my passion, and I started setting up youth groups, Amnesty International youth groups in secondary schools in my area, with the help of my eldest daughter. And then that led me to meet other people, and then I went to a spiritual development group. Perchance, I was fundraising for, that was it. From Amnesty International, I decided to go on a charity trek to Peru, which I'd never done before. Didn't really know that much about Peru, so I was very led by my inner guidance, as I know now. And I started fundraising for that. I had to raise over £3,500, which is very hard. But I met some lovely people in Bridport, which is about 10 miles away from us in another village. They started me on a spiritual development group. I started meditating, connecting with my guides, learning about them, what they were. I didn't have a clue about any of this before. And that whole year was just amazing. Synchronistically, I had some polarity therapy done at the time on my journey, which was amazing. That realigned me to my path, sort of thing. Then I went to Peru. Oh my God, that was amazing. That was my spiritual awakening, as I call it. It was just amazing. I can't put it into words. I just felt it was so hard. We had 10 days, 7 days were trekking around Peru. It was really hard work. I wasn't the fittest person, and it's just the hardest, but the best thing I've ever done. And I met some Native Americans. Some of my friends before I went said I'd be going home because I've been there in a past life. I felt that quite strongly. And I was just, it's just amazing, the energy there. I just flew around the whole time. And then the last day for a treat, we went to Machu Picchu and we did that worldwide meditation, and you joined me, Bea, and
Yes.
yeah, that was brilliant. So I came back from Peru a completely different person. It just, yeah, from then on, it was just mad. The synchronicities came thick and fast. My friends who I was doing the spiritual development group with in Bridport, I was talking to my friend Fiona, and we were discussing opening a healing centre, because I'd just recently done Reiki 1, which is healing. Mm-hmm. And then within 2 months, we set up this centre in Abbotsbury, out of nowhere. I literally made a folder and listed lots and lots of things. I'm sure quite a lot of it was just channels coming through. Right. Made up a folder. And then this property in the village came up for rent, and we just did it. And me and my mum, who's Christina, we run it, and we've been open just over a year now. I'm sure there's lots more involved in that, but that's the short version.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, and I'm very grateful to be a witness to all of this, because I remember we met right before you went to Peru, and we followed you to Peru, and we did the meditation with you, and then you came back, and the next thing you know, you're talking about starting the healing center, which is, I mean, wow, just everything just seemed to fall into place. And again, that's a wonderful example of how synchronicity begins to take over once we align ourselves with our spirit and align ourselves with, you know, with truth, love, whatever you want to call it. But absolutely, and it's, you know, I know that everybody knows that I have had shortcomings in the work that I do. I'm sure you've had shortcomings in the work that you do. Sometimes the technology is not there, the money's not there, the space isn't there, whatever it may be. There's always something, and it's not easy. It's not that life becomes easier. It just, for me, it feels like we're just following our gut, and by following our gut, it leads us to other experiences, and each experience seems to be teaching us or preparing us for something next. What's next? And it's just more and more and more. You know, it keeps coming. One thing that we haven't really spoken of publicly, but you did choose a spiritual name after you returned from Peru. And we all know you on Facebook as Anela Nusta Shanti. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about how that came about. Because I know the words come from 3 different traditions, correct?
Yes, that's right, yeah. Well, I came back from Peru, and I like I said, I aligned myself with my spiritual side so much. And then I met other people, and they all had different names, spiritual names. I remember asking you, how do you pick a spiritual name? I just felt like somebody completely different, and I wanted to give myself a different identity. So that, Yvonne Wykes, that's my name, and I did all my Amnesty International work with that, but I felt I was on a different path. So some people said I could use numerology to choose my name. There was all sorts of different suggestions. So I sat down for a couple of nights and wrote down everything that came to me or that meant something to me. Anela is Hawaiian for angel. Shanti is Nepalese for peace, and I'm obsessed with angels, peace angels. So those 2 names had to be in there somewhere. Like and Nusta, Nusta, was what they called me when I was when I was hyperventilating up halfway up the mountains in the Andes. this little Native American guy, bless him, was calming me down, and I'm not very good with heights. And he kept calling me Nusta, Nusta, and I was going, "What are you talking about?" And he's going, "You're Inca princess," and he was just making me laugh. And he called me while I was there. Yeah, so the names all fell in together. So Anela Nusta Shanti. I picked that, really. And a lot of people call it Anela now, which is nice. So yeah, thank you.
and just a personal question, out of curiosity: when you're at the healing center, do they call you Yvonne or do they call you Anela?
Well, my healing center is called Garden of Eve. So a lot of people just call me Eve. It's easier to connect with, you know, what I do. But people that have met me recently on Facebook or in the spiritual movement, a lot of them do call me Anela. I don't mind. I I believe that all the past lives we've had different names for those lives. So as much as I do love my name, it's not my essence of who I am. So
right, exactly.
I don't care what people call me, really. I'll answer to most things as long as it's nice.
Absolutely, yeah, no, that's nice. I was wondering, I was like, well, does she want us to start calling her now? No.
Nah, call me what you like.
And I do remember that Garden of Eve started from your nickname Evie, so I was like, oh yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely.
My postman calls me Evie, so I get called all sorts.
Anyway, I figured that we would talk a little bit about how I got involved in doing what I do, and
Mm.
again, we were talking just now about synchronicity and how things fall into place. And for me, it was a very, very long journey of self-discovery and really having to really outgrow my youth is what happened with me. I was very lucky to had my, for lack of a better term, spiritual awakening or a vision quest actually in my early 20s. And I kind of already, after the vision quest, I had gotten in contact with my higher self and the shining ones, for lack of a better term. But I don't think I was ready. I hear a lot of people today talking about it as well, that when they have these spiritual awakenings that are that profound, that they have a very hard time coming back to themselves, being here on the planet, you know, living in 3D, 4D, whatever we're in right now, because of what we already know. And I know that in my path before doing what I'm doing now, I was very involved in the esoteric and the magical and whatnot. And one of the common things that was said to you, and it was very, very profound, was do not go any further unless you're ready. Once you know the truth, there's no turning back. Once you go on this path, there's no turning back because you already know the truth. And, you know, then, gosh, for me, that was in 1992, 93. So, you know, a few years later, that movie, The Matrix, comes out. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. It's exactly the same thing. You know, you get all the answers, you understand everything, and there's no turning back once you understand and you've seen through the veil, once you've seen the truth of the light or whatever we wish to call it, there is no turning back, and we have to act on it. And for me, I was in a position where I wasn't ready. I was not ready. I was too young or emotionally immature, for lack of a better term. I was in my early 20s. I wanted to play. I wanted to party. I wanted to go to the nightclubs. I wanted to be rich and famous and all those other things. I wanted to stay and, you know, what is it, the blue pill. I wanted to take the blue pill. You know? And it created a lot of hardships for me, because it almost, for me in my early 20s or in my late 20s, especially my late 20s, I felt like I was two different people. And so it was really hard because I knew something in my gut, but I was living the exterior world, which was so difficult. I mean, you know, trying to start a business, trying to be successful, trying to have social status, and you know, and the funny thing is, for me, is that I made it to the top of my goals, so to speak. You know, I made it to the top. I was in the society column. I was respected by the local politicians. I was involved in, and I was an ambassador for the city and blah, blah, blah. But it was funny because the moment that I got to the very top, the universe took it all away. And I found that, I mean, it was so hard. It was very, very hard. I finally had made it to the top. I wanted my own salon. I got my own salon. I was running my own place. I was, you know, on top of the world, driving around in a convertible and, you know, all that stuff, working with the Chamber of Commerce. And then a hurricane came and wiped it all out. And I was back at the bottom. And it wasn't that hard for me because, you know, for those of us who've, you know, gone up and down, up and down, up and down, I've been at the bottom before. It wasn't that hard for me. Well, I think what was hard for me was giving up the actual career, because I was involved in the fashion business. And giving up that whole part of my life that I had been involved with for 20 years was very, very hard. And I got involved in activism. And I've always been an activist, mind you. During this whole time, I was involved in well, back in the day before, well, I don't even know how they're doing right now, but there's quotes, there's buzz that maybe there's a little bit of corruption in Greenpeace and whatnot, but I was very involved in Greenpeace. I was involved in the anti-war movement in the 90s when we had, you know, the Gulf War and whatnot. I was involved in, and the Fed, even before it was popular. I'll never forget, it was funny, in my 20s, I had a ban the IRS sticker. For those of you that don't know, in the United States, the IRS is the Internal Revenue Service, and they're the ones that, you know, that tax everybody. And I had a sticker on my door of my apartment, and my father would see it, and he hated that sticker. He was like, what kind of communist crap or whatever, you know? And he literally scraped it off my door one day when I wasn't home. He came into my house and scraped the sticker off my door. But so I was involved in all of this. I felt the sentiment, and it's funny how in the mid-2000s, you know, like after 9/11 and all of this stuff started bubbling to the surface. And when I mean bubbling to the surface, I mean bubbling to the surface of the collective unconscious, I guess, of humanity, of the world. We all started realizing this is a very corrupt system. Why are we killing each other for oil? Why are we killing our planet? Why are we being discriminatory against other races? All of these things started to come up, and it just seemed like a perfect time for me to let the universe take me. It was kind of like you know, jumping off a cliff and into the river and just holding your nose and say, okay, just take me where we're going, just take me. And I let it all go. And it brought me to a place, a very uncomfortable, it was a very uncomfortable, difficult time for me, where I had to give up all my material possessions. And it was hard. It was very hard. You know, family albums, antiques, things from, you know, things that had been passed down through my family and whatnot. I was put in a position where I could no longer keep them. And I had no choice. I had no choice. I had to get rid of everything. And no, I did not sell it. It literally was thrown in a dumpster. And that was very heartbreaking for me. But at the same time, it was so freeing to have a clean slate and just be, you know, starting from zero, building yourself up from nothing, and being in a good headspace, and not in a, you know, a lot of people go, you know, they hit bottom if they're on drugs or alcohol or divorced or, no, this was just like the universe just shoved me there, and I was at the bottom, and I was in a good headspace, and I was like, wow, now I can really follow my dreams. I can really follow the path that the universe has been calling me to follow since I was in my early 20s. Let me just go with it. And I was very lucky to meet Annabelle Montalbano. And it was Annabelle, if those of you remember, Annabelle helped me found the GIC. She was the co-founder. And if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, because it was her literally pushing me to finish my book. And she pushed me to the point where she was, I will transcribe it. Just say it to me. Just say it to me. And I had the channelings from my Vision Quest back in '92, but I never followed through on explaining that. And she basically had me record the explanations, again, that were channeled. And she just transcribed the entire book, and that's what started the whole thing. And started me on this path. So if it wasn't for her pushing me, like, Bernard, the world needs this information, you need to share it with them. It's your duty, your responsibility. That's why it was given to you. That I'm now doing what I'm doing, and loving, you know, loving every moment of it. And again, it's not easy. It's not easy. I have a very,
thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Not that it's not easy. For that Annabelle pushing you, I mean.
Yes. No, I know. You know, because
if it wasn't for you in the GIC, I wouldn't be here either so quickly. So thank you.
No, thank you. And if I may stroke my own ego for a moment, or not my ego, the GIC's ego, is we get that message all the time, and I think that was the purpose of creating the GIC, was to create a support system for those that are going through the same thing that I was going through. And when I started the GIC, that's basically the message that I got. I really had no idea what I was doing. I had no technological background, for God's sake. I was a hairstylist. So I had no computer background. And here I am, I sit in front of the computer one day, and the next thing you know, the GIC pops out of me. I had no idea what I was doing. And it was like, hey, not only do we have a website, we have a network. And the next thing you know, we have the radio and the TV and the network, and boom, again, to this day, I'm like, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it. And I thank my higher self for coming through and making it happen, because, I didn't have the technological background. But enough of me. No, I'm kidding. Enough about me.
I love
want
it.
to know, what I would like to know is, for me, and for me, Yvonne and Ella, it's very difficult. For me, what is difficult is that me having a vision quest, me understanding what I understand, for me, it has been very difficult to play in the economic spectrum, which is probably why I have so many modern money problems, because I don't, it's not that I despise money, I despise the economic system. So I do my best to participate in it, and that's why I strictly work off donations and, the pennies that YouTube throws me. But for me, that's what has become very difficult for me. I have a hard time thinking like a business person. I don't ever want to think like a business person. And I know that's a shortcoming in today's world, because we do need to have that. Well, some people need it. I take that back. So let me retract that.
Yeah.
Some people need to have that stability of knowing that everything's going to be okay and whatnot. But I will say,
you need to find that balance.
Yes, exactly. That was my question. That was going to be my question to you. How do you find that balance to? Because I'm sure with a business you have to sign all those papers and all that fuddy-duddy stuff. Whereas with this being a volunteer network, we don't have to worry about any of that.
Oh, yeah, it's really hard. Yeah, it's the first business I've ever had. My mum's helped me out, bless her, a lot. It's hard trying to find that balance between not buying into the materialistic paradigm that is, ego and based, or the banker system. You do want to detach away from it as much as possible. When I had the idea for the healing centre, I just was going to hire out the village hall once a week on a Saturday and invite anybody. There's a lot of old people in our village. I wanted to reach out to them, some of the mums and people that needed healing, really. Once I learned about Reiki, I just wanted to share it. So I was just going to do that. But that wasn't enough. Obviously, I got pushed by my guides and my friends, and there needs to be a centre. And it is really hard trying to stick to all the all the paperwork and the materialistic side of it. So trying to find that balance is quite hard, but you do meet people along the way that teach you these lessons, and you need to learn to receive as well as give. There has to be an equal energy share, and it's just practice. We've been open a year now, and luckily I've got my mum and we bounce off each other for ideas. She's not business-minded, I'm not business-minded, but a lot of my friends are. So we have help. I feel like I'm building a massive community, not just in Abbotsbury and in the area, but all over the world through the internet and the GIC. And to me, it's more of a community. It's more than that. It feels more like a tribe, I call it. So yeah. So I have a lot of help to keep me on track. Yeah. But I also do a lot of charity work as well, so I keep that balance in there as well.
What I was just saying, as Yvonne was saying, is that, we do everything volunteer here, and, nobody gets paid, and yet we're still getting all of this work done. We're still helping millions of people around the planet. We're still putting videos out and radio shows and TV shows and making these wonderful connections and meeting so many wonderful people. And this is with, a shoestring budget. And I was saying, I don't know if I do it intuitively, that I just don't want to get all caught up in the materialism of it. I just want to work. I just want to do this work. And as long as I have a roof over my head and food in my belly, that's all I care about. And the technology to do what we're doing. And speaking of to do what we're doing, I want to talk a little bit about some of the actions that we've been doing, all of us at GIC, especially Yvonne, myself, and and some of the projects that we've been involved in. As many of you know, I've been very involved with Occupy Roanoke. I was one of the main facilitators for a while. One of the, I guess, event coordinator type people among the team, because it is a collective of people working together. But so myself or Occupy, being with Occupy, everybody has to understand that Occupy is different everywhere around the world. And when you're in a small city like I am, my big thing was feeding the homeless. That was very important to me, and I did that for 6 months nonstop. I've taken some time off now. I'm probably going to stay away and back off a little bit because I have more projects I need to take care of. But I think that was a very important role for me and an action that I needed to take because, the American, I don't know how many of you know about the corporate personhood that we have here in the United States that states that corporations are people and they have the right to give as much money as they want to senators and president elections and things like that, which is, it's a legalized form of bribery as far as I'm concerned. And that's a big issue for me. I feel that if we're going to have a government, we need to have a representative government. If we're going to have a representative government, they need to represent the people and not the corporations and not the ones that are filling their bellies and their pockets and their wallets. So for me, that was very, very important. And of course, I'm still going to participate in Occupy Roanoke, maybe just not in the role that I have been. I have a lot of other new projects that I'm getting very involved in. I'm getting involved with the local LGBT rights community. So I hope to be doing some work with them and opening a community center here as well. I'm very involved with Miriam Delicato and the Hopi water struggle, trying to stop the government from stealing the Hopi water rights. So these are some of the projects that I'm involved in. And I see some more coming my way on the horizon that I don't want to talk about yet. But you can see that it's where your heart calls you. I mean, it really is where your heart calls you.
Yeah.
You'll see something that you feel that you need to be a part of, that you need to take care of. And, you'll work with that for a little while. Then you'll see something else that you feel you need to work with. But I think that people don't understand. And someone said to me, actually, someone posted on the GIC on Facebook. So if you're watching, I want you to hear what I'm saying. He had, it was a he, and it's always a mid-20s straight male. It's always someone in their mid-20s, straight orientation and male that has to get angry about something that we're doing or not doing or judge us or whatnot. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's a testosterone thing. I don't know if it's a I don't know, hormonal, I don't know. But the ones that stick around and get to know us are our biggest supporters, and that's the other thing I don't understand. One of our biggest supporting base at this point is 25 to 45, and they're male. We have some very good friends in other organizations that I'm not going to name that are very supportive of us. But this particular gentleman said to us, you post all of this stuff and you post all of this, but I don't see you doing anything about it. And I was like, okay, so a radio show isn't doing anything about it. So doing live streams, having Yvonne work with Amnesty, having Yvonne create a healing center, me working with Occupy, me working with Move to Amend, me working with the LGBT community, me working to save the Hopi. I'm not doing anything. I'm so sorry. So if you're watching, I just want to let you know you're very wrong, and for
your research.
and for the detractors, we have to be very careful. And that, for me, that was a very big awakening as well to have that, because I had a tendency to look at people or organizations and say, well, what are you doing? And not really go in depth and research them and see the details of the work that they're doing. So, I myself have been guilty of it in the past. So it was just a reminder of human behavior. And it's nothing personal toward that person. I don't even remember who it is. But it was just like... And
they came across our page for a reason, and we were probably part of their awakening.
Exactly.
So, hello.
Absolutely.
Hope you're fine.
Absolutely. But, and Yvonne, I know... oh, boy, we've only got 20 minutes left. Wow. You recently, and maybe this is a good time, if you don't mind, if you could share the announcement about the work that you've been working with the indigenous of Africa and your decision that you needed to take a break.
Yes, I
Take a
can't
deep breath.
say too well. There's not much to say really. Due to circumstances out of our control, mainly out of my control, that we are no longer able to accommodate the Dogon coming over for their UK tour. I loved meeting them. I've been on an amazing journey. It's quite complicated, and there's just an amazing energy about them. It's just not the right time or the right place. And hopefully our paths will cross in the future, and we get them over here at some point. But that's all I can say at the moment. I just apologise. But yeah,
I guess what I was trying to say, and thank you for making the announcement. But what I was trying to say is that you had been working with them for about a year almost, and putting your time and energy into it. So that's work. That's work. So good, good for you for working to bring that message over to the UK, and also good for you for realizing that this is not a good time or space to do it in, because you've only got so much Yvonne. But
yeah, I've been a bit ill. I've been a bit ill this week. I think I've been giving too much of myself away, and I haven't been concentrating on balance. So I'm being strong, and yeah. There you go.
Listen, that's a part of what we do. It's a part of what we do. I mean, we, whether it be you or me or anybody, it could be Anelia Benz or Miriam Delicata or Carrie Cassidy or all of these people that are constantly working. We need to remember to take time for ourselves. And that goes for all of you viewers out there that are also spiritual activists. I'm sure you're going from project to project to project to project to project. Sometimes with your hand in 5 projects like I do, but it's very important that we find that balance to just reground, reconnect, and pamper yourself. You really need to pamper yourself and take care of yourself. And, and somebody said something to me the other day as far as why do I base the choices that how do I base my choices on giving up a particular project or moving away from a certain organization or whatnot. And I say it all the time in all of my videos. I say it all the time in all of my videos. Listen to your central nervous system. That's all it comes down to. If you are cringing, if your muscles are tightening, listen to your body. That's your body saying, not good, not good. If you're getting palpitations or anxiety, I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of us work on a 9-to-5 job, and we're in the mainstream world of commerce and whatnot.
Right.
It's very common to have anxiety. But when you're dealing with something that's very personal to you, like, like a particular movement or a particular organization or a particular issue or something like that, and you're constantly getting, your heart is getting tight, or you're getting short of breath, or your body is tightening, your central nervous system is not working with you, in a positive manner, that is your body saying, I don't want to be here. And you need to listen to that. You really need to listen to that. Listen, not all organizations out there are so lovey-dovey like GIC. I mean, we love each other. We're very, very lucky to have the administrative team that we have.
Solid.
We're solid. We can even bicker at each other, and it lasts a day, But it happens maybe 3 times a year at the most. At the most.
Yeah.
We're very, very loving, supportive community of a team of administrators that run this organization, and it's very important that people understand. There are organizations out there that are gonna be difficult. And I mean, some people like that. I know there's some people really, that's where they thrive. They thrive in personality conflicts and trying to smooth them out.
Competitive.
And, and yeah, people really get into that, and that's their strength. But for me, again, they could be doing that, and they're not getting that thing in their belly or their chest saying, oh no, I can't do this anymore. So that's because they thrive there. So again, if you're involved in an activist movement or a particular movement, when your gut's telling you, there's something not quite right, or I'm constantly depressed, or I'm constantly angry, or I'm constantly, upset about something, that may not be the right organization and or cause to work with.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, nothing's gone wrong, or
Right,
you can see
exactly.
energy changes, and you need your vibrations change. And you need to find something that matches that vibration. You know,
Correct.
don't beat yourself up about having to change things. It's
You
all
can't
part
beat
of the
yourself
process.
up for being you.
Hey, I missed what you said. What did you say?
I said you can't beat yourself up for just being yourself.
Oh, yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's who you are. That's what you're made up of. So I mean, a lot of time, a lot of times we will find ourselves in a predicament where it's like, I just can't go there anymore. You know, hey, it goes with church, it goes with jobs, it goes with friends, it goes on with everything.
Family.
You know, I mean, we're talking about spiritual activism here today, so that's why I'm talking about issues and activism. But yeah, I mean, all in general, we really, really have to move into that place where we begin listening to our body, begin listening to our gut, and going with the flow of what it's trying to tell us. It's much more smarter than you are. You know, it's much more smarter than our ego, I should say. So even though we want to get that done, maybe we can't get that done. And it's funny how, and I'll share this with everybody publicly, maybe a day after Anela decided that she needed to take a break from this tour for now, was the day that I decided I needed to take a break from Occupy and just be a participant versus a facilitator. And it was just one of those. It's funny how synchronistically we're connected. I got to tell you, Yvonne. It's like, wow.
I know.
You know, and it's funny because and I hope she doesn't get mad at me for sharing this, but I had spoken to Miriam Delicato. I think the day as the decision was being made. And I forgot what she was talking about. It was a big thing, but I think it wasn't a big thing, but we were talking about the same thing, about how we feel like we're in this place of like change is happening. You know, there's something happening within us, there's something moving us into different directions, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, so it just seems like a lot of us might be feeling this. So if you are going through that, you're not alone. Again, you're not alone. We might be going through that move on to the next project type feeling. But
I think, thank goodness, we've got each other as well. We've got a really nice group of like-minded people. So the GIC have got that too. And on Facebook, we've got that. So we've all got each other to bounce off as well. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we're very lucky. You know, we have 3,500 members on the GIC, and all of us have one thing in common. We're looking for like-minded people, and I think a majority are making friends with like-minded people. So there's lots of us out there. If you're not a member, you might want to apply for a membership. It's free. If you're looking for like-minded people that feel the way that you do, this might be the environment. You know, we do pride ourselves. That's one thing, and it's funny because I'm now starting to carry it over to Facebook, which I never did before. It was like Facebook is free range. But on the GIC network, we have a very firm policy of being what's the word? Compassionate, supportive, and I don't mean fake supportive. I don't mean fake compassionate. If you don't feel it, you don't talk to them. But we don't attack each other. We're like, okay, you're going through that. You need to explore that aspect of your spirituality or your politics or your activism, and that's what you're into right now. We're not going to judge you. Hey, I'm sure there are other people on the network that are into, chemtrails or UFOs or end the Fed or chakras or lucid dreaming or star seeds or light workers. I mean, we have all of that. But the one thing I will say, we have Ron Paul and the Fed people right alongside next to starseeds. And I mean, talk about complete difference. But they both are very compassionate toward each other. And I'm not making specific, I'm not speaking about specific people, but from what I see as the webmaster, I don't see the Ron Paul people attacking the starseed people. I don't see the pagans attacking the Muslims or nothing like that. It's really, it's almost like an experiment of the new paradigm of how, when we will all get together and really allow each other to feel safe in exploring our own thoughts and our own philosophies and our own things. But anyway, the point I was trying to make was that that strict, firm policy. Because I mean, if I see somebody, you know, being nasty to somebody on GIC, I call them out on it. And now I'm starting to do it on Facebook. And it's funny how supportive people are of that. It's like, you know what, because if I'm going to work on Facebook, if I need to be a part of Facebook, I don't want my gut to cringe. I don't want to have to worry about opening up my wall and seeing somebody calling me names, or calling Yvonne names, or calling Trevor names, or calling the GIC name. I don't want to work with that. What kind of life is that? So I decided, you know what, we're moving the policy over to the Facebook wall, and I think we posted yesterday or the day before, and it was just like, listen, if you're going to be racist, if you're going to be a bigot, if you're going to be judgmental of other people's beliefs, we'll warn you, and then we'll remove you. But you get one warning, and it was very funny how very positive. A year ago, I tried to do it, and everyone was like, oh, this is free speech, and this and that, and da-da-da-da-da. Now the other day,
I remember that.
It seems completely different. Like, thank you. You know, it's like, I feel safe here. Thank you. You know, we need to be in a safe environment. Why do we need to be afraid of being ourselves? You know, and if you're a nasty person, then go be with other nasty people. But we're not nasty people. You know. So I mean, you remember you went through a little phase of that last year too on your own page. You know, where people got a little crazy. Oh my Lord. But they don't like change. A lot of people don't like change sometimes.
Was that me? I had to change my Facebook account. But yeah, it's all good now.
It's all good now, right? But no, it's just very strange. And you know, I'm laughing now. But let me tell you, it took years for me to become this vigilant. And what I mean by vigilant, I mean to be able to tell the difference between free speech and just being mean, between censorship and just being nasty, between you know, following, you know, connecting with like-minded people versus trolls, internet trolls. And it took a while, you know, it's taken a while, and to this day I still follow my gut. For a while we had no obscenities on the Facebook page, and now every once in a while I'm like, well, that guy said fuck it for the right reason, so I'll let him put it on there like I just did. That's it, we're all human at the end of the day. We don't have to be 100% on the ball, do you know what I mean? We're allowed to let it drop every now and again. Right place, you know. I'm looking at the time here. We have just a few more minutes left. But anyway, so Yvonne, tell us a little bit about you just did a wonderful project in, where did you guys go? Glastonbury, and you made a stone circle?
Oh my gosh, yeah, synchronistically. Since I've opened the Healing Centre, I've been meeting the most amazing people, but it's from GIC Radio I've met the most amazing people. I ended up going to Megalithomania in Glastonbury in May with Hugh Newman. He ran that, and then I met his friend Sean Kerwin. And he builds stone circles. He's a geomancer, etc. And dowser. So I went to help him build a stone circle. I just wanted to be a hippie for a day in a field and get out of the house away from the kids for a night. But it was the most amazing experience, and we bonded with the earth and the stones. They were just amazing. There was 21 stones altogether. It had so many alignments in it. It's aligned. I couldn't even tell you what it's aligned to. I can't remember. But it's amazing. And then a couple of weeks later, we went back there. I took the girls. There was Sunrise Festival in Bruton, which is where we built the stone circle. And we went back there, and everybody enjoyed the circle, just to see everybody there, and some druids were there, and yeah, that was amazing. And before that, I went to Stonehenge with some more druids, who are the Dorset Grove druids. I think it's dorsetgrove.co.uk if you want to find them. Anybody can turn up to their rituals. But I went to Stonehenge with them and celebrated the solstice as well, all in space of a few months.
Yes. I remember, like, well, you went to Megalithomania, and then every week you were leaving Abbotsbury. I was like, oh my God, every week she's going somewhere now.
Yeah. My mum keeps having to pull me back. Come down to earth. But I love it. I'm so on my path. Yeah.
Yes,
next year, when I get somebody to run the Healing Centre, I'll be going away for weeks at a time. that's me positively thinking and projecting.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, and I'm sure you will. And I'm waiting to find someone to help me run the GIC too. Well,
Yeah, no, no
more
worries.
people. And actually, you know what? We've only got about 5 minutes. So let me put that call out there. I will say that the GIC is not necessarily actively looking for administrators or volunteers, but we're always open to it. Um, we are looking for people that are helpful with like graphics, taking care of the website, doing email campaigns, things like that. Even the Facebook page, which is basically I'm running the Facebook page with Yvonne alone right now. I know Trevor posts once in a while, but he works full time. But it's basically me and Yvonne running the Facebook page. So if you ever see the post, it's usually me during the day and her at night if you're in the U.S. and vice versa if you're in the U.K. We have a big time difference here. But we're always looking for help. So if you are interested, just shoot us a note on the Facebook page. As well, speaking of synchronicity, we have been trying for years to have a GIC conference. And a couple of years ago, we started with Annabelle, actually, back in 2008 or 2009. I remember it was a swimming bird, Trevor, myself, Annabelle, and a couple other volunteers that were helping put it together. And we were too late to get the space. We had gotten this wonderful space in, I want to say it was Vermont or somewhere. But we ended up missing out on the space, so we couldn't do it. We had put this wonderful conference together. We couldn't do it because of the timing. Then for the last couple of years, I'd been moving and having computer problems, so all the focus was basically on rebuilding the infrastructure of GIC, and we kind of had to rebuild from scratch. And now we're pretty much done there. So we said, okay, well this year let's do it. Let's do it. Let's just put it out there. We worked with the administrators over the last year, trying to get it together. We had some problems with funding and whatnot. But let me just share with you that as of today, the contracts are signed. We have the venue. We did already start selling pre-registration about 3 days ago, maybe 2 days ago. But yes, for the first time ever, it'll be our first annual GIC International Spiritual Activist Conference. Yay! And Yvonne's coming from UK. Trevor's coming from Canada. We have Miriam Delicato will be joining us from Canada as well, or she might be in Hopi at that time. So she'll be coming from Arizona. We have Roxy Lopez coming from Arizona. And we have a few other maybes coming from out of the country as well. I have my fingers crossed for all of these speakers to come out. But it's not going to be that kind of conference where you pay $100 and you have to sit and you sit through 12 hours of people talking about their book or their DVD or anything like that. This is not going to be that type of conference. We are merely asking for a registration fee to cover the cost, which is only $20 American. All you have to do is come on the GIC. I'll have to post the link again on the Facebook page. But if you come on the GIC.org, go into the groups, and there is a group called International Spiritual Activist Conference. In that group is the registration and all the details that you'll need if you're interested. The conference itself is going to be a 1.5-day event, for lack of a better term. It will be the speakers not speaking about their book, not speaking about their DVD or their CD or their website or whatnot. Well, they'll talk a little bit about that, but it's not going to be strictly an hour and a half of them lecturing on it. It's going to be in short modules of them sharing how they run their organization, sharing how they get their funding, sharing how they get their inspiration, and of course, they're going to share a bit about their own personal message to humanity. And then we'll do a question and answer where people can learn, and we can all learn from each other as how to facilitate better spiritual activism, whether it be in our community, on our website, or our organization. So it's very important that, first of all, let me say what's very important is that you understand we only are selling, we only have room for, I believe it's 60 registrants. So it's going to be a very, very intimate gathering. We didn't want this first one to be in a big hall. We rented a very beautiful 18 turn of the century, 17th, 18th century manor in Roanoke, Virginia. It accommodates up to 65 people, but you know we need a team to work, so we're only going to be selling 60 registrations. So you want to really get that while you can. As well, we'll have some vendors, and if you are a vendor, if you're interested, let us know. Let me know at justbernard@facebook.com if you'd like to do a vendor type of agreement, and I'll give you more details of that. Again, it's going to be very casual, very intimate. It's just a matter of synchronicity. We felt it was time for all of us to come together, to get to know each other, and to have the opportunity to learn to work with one another and learn from one another. How can I make a better website? How can I make a better organization? How can I participate better as a blogger or be a better example for humanity? And I think this is what's going to give us the opportunity to do that. So I'm very, very much looking forward to it. And I can't wait to just give you guys a hug in real life. I mean, I'm sure we have a few people out there watching.
Tell me
like,
about
God,
it.
I can't wait to meet you. You know.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's way overdue. It's way overdue. So yeah, and by the way, that'll be October 13th of this year, and it'll be fall, so it'll be just about when the leaves are turning. You'll be in the Appalachian Mountains. The Blue Ridge Parkway is like a half a mile or a mile from the venue, so you can go and take off and ride up and down the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is the only national park that's a highway, or a highway that's a national park, because it's so beautiful.
Wow.
And to just drive up and down the parkway in the fall and see all the leaves turning and everything is going to be absolutely beautiful. As well, that
Sounds
night.
so romantic.
Yes, yes. And by the way, I don't know if you knew, the motto for Virginia is Virginia is for lovers. That's the state motto. So if you have a partner, bring them with you.
Sweet.
But we'll be doing that night, the night of the conference. We'll have a party. We're going to do it in the form of a cash mob. And now a lot of people are like, what's a cash mob? A cash mob is an activist event or action. And basically what a cash mob is we find a local venue, a bar, a restaurant, a nightclub, whatever, that is suffering economically. And we just all decide to go there in a throng of people. And 60 people descending on one place is what we call a cash mob. So it's kind of like a flash mob, but you're going there to buy drinks or food or whatever it is. So that's the way we're going to do the after party. We'll turn it into a volunteer activism type thing to try to help someone out in the community. And then, of course, as well, the following day, which is Sunday the 14th, is the one-year anniversary of Occupy Roanoke. And if I'm not mistaken, they've spoken, or we had spoken about doing a celebration, an anniversary party. So we decided, well, why don't we have the International Spiritual Activists Conference come and party with Occupy Roanoke at the park, in the occupation where the tents and you know, feeding the homeless and the signs and the picketing. And so it'll be like spending an afternoon in the park with Occupy as well. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. Anella, we're a minute over time, but that's quite all right since we run this station.
We'll have to do it again then.
Yes. By the way, thank you so much for volunteering to come on. For those of you that don't know, I booked Anella, Yvonne, at the last second because Roxy and I had decided to move the GMO question and answer Tribe TV show to next Thursday, and that reminds me to tell you that next Thursday at this time, it'll be Roxy Lopez and myself, and we will be taking questions on GMO, on genetically modified organisms, Monsanto, all of that stuff. So put your questions together. Roxy is doing a lot of research on this, and she's been interviewing a lot of people on her show that are very, very knowledgeable and are experts in this field. So she's going to convey some of that information to us. So it'll be a special on genetically modified foods and whatnot next Thursday at this time. And last but not least, I think that's about it. I don't want to ask this live, but I have to. Did we confirm for Monday, Yvonne?
We'll find out on Saturday, or I can get somebody quite quickly in. I'm sorry.
But anyway, join us for
hopefully
GIC
it's Sean
Radio.
Kirkman, who I was talking about, who knows more about stone circles than is in any book. Promise.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyway, you can join us this Monday also on GIC Radio at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're always on GIC Radio every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, so you can find us there. And now, of course, you can find us here on GIC
6 p.m.
TV.
UK time.
What time?
6 p.m. UK time.
6 p.m. GMT UK. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all for now. We thank you so much for listening. Yvonne, you want to give some parting words?
Oh, I just wanted to give our website out, really. Garden of Eve. It's gardenofeve.co.uk. You can contact me on there, on Facebook, YouTube, all sorts of different things. But we've run out of time now. Oh, thank you. I'm still nervous. But yeah.
Oh, no need to be. Now
I love
broken
everybody.
the seal. You've broken the seal. You're one of us now. You're on TV.
I know. Got to do it more often now, haven't I?
Yes. And we're working toward bringing on Yvonne on a regular basis on the GIC TV show. So thank you, Yvonne, for coming on today. Don't forget gardenofeve.co.uk, correct?
Sorry?
gardenofeve.co.uk?
That's right, yes. That's my website.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And that you can get a hold of her there as well as on Facebook. And, of course, you can find me on Facebook and on the GIC Facebook page. And you can find Yvonne on the GIC Facebook page. And, of course, our profiles on the GIC.org. Please remember, this is all for free. We do not make any money off of it. We need your contributions. Please make a donation to the GIC.org if you have the opportunity. We would be very, very grateful. And I'm sure everyone who watches this and enjoys the work that the GIC puts out there for free is very grateful as well, because we are trying to do our best to keep everything free. Like I said, I don't want this to be a business. We're a group of volunteers that love what we do, and we just need some people to help us cover the costs. So thank you very much, everybody. We love you very, very much, and we will see you next Thursday at the very same time for Roxy Lopez and GMO Q&A. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.